Have you ever wondered how banks make money from the money you deposit with them? It's all about interest. Welcome to the Simple Savings Squad, where we unravel the mysteries of money and help you understand how to make your finances work for you. Today, we're diving into a topic that might seem complex but is essential to your financial health: interest. Picture this. You have a friend who wants to borrow a book from your vast library. You agree, but since it's a prized possession, you charge them a small fee for the privilege of borrowing it. That fee is a bit like the interest that banks pay you when you deposit your money with them. It's a kind of rent, a thank you for letting them use your money. Now, here's where things get really interesting. There are two main types of interest that banks use when they're calculating how much to pay you. These are simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is, well, simple. It's a fixed amount that's calculated based on the original amount of money you deposited. But compound interest? That's a whole different ballgame. Compound interest adds the interest you've earned back into the original amount, which means you're earning interest on your interest. It's like your money is working twice as hard, but which is better, you might ask, and how can you make the most of these interest rates to grow your wealth? These are excellent questions and ones that we'll be delving into in the upcoming scenes. We'll be breaking down the intricacies of simple and compound interest, showing you how they can have a real impact on your money, and giving you tips on how to make interest work for you. We hope you're ready for an enlightening journey into the world of interest, and we encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to join the Simple Savings Squad on this financial adventure. So, are you ready to uncover the mystery of simple and compound interest? Let's start with the straightforward one: simple interest. Now, what exactly is simple interest? It's the extra amount you either earn or owe on a principal sum, a base amount of money. It's like the cherry on top of your financial sundae, a sweet little bonus, or a sour extra cost, depending on whether you're saving or borrowing. Here's how it works. Imagine you're saving money in a bank. You put in $100, and the bank promises to pay you a certain percentage of that sum each year as interest. If the rate is 5% at the end of the year, you'll have an additional $5. That's your simple interest. The calculation? It's as easy as pie. You just multiply your principal sum by the interest rate, and then by the time in years. Now, what if you're on the other side of the fence, borrowing instead of saving? Simple interest works the same way. If you borrow $100 at a 5% annual rate, you'll owe an extra $5 at the end of the year. So, when do we typically use simple interest? It's most common with short-term loans or investments, like a 3-month loan from a friend or a 1-year certificate of deposit at a bank. Here's something to remember. With simple interest, your interest doesn't grow over time. It stays the same every year. So if you're saving, your money doesn't grow as fast. But if you're borrowing, you don't owe as much as you would with some other types of interest. And guess what? You've just grasped the concept of simple interest. It's as simple as it sounds, isn't it? Just remember, it's all about that base amount, the principal, and the rate at which it grows or shrinks every year. Simple, isn't it? But wait till you hear about compound interest. Now, let's dive into the more complex one: compound interest. This is the kind of interest that has the potential to turn small amounts of money into massive sums over time. But how does it work? Imagine you have a snowball. You start rolling it down a hill, and as it rolls, it picks up more and more snow. It's not just growing by the same amount each time, it's growing by a larger and larger amount because it's picking up snow on all the snow it's already rolled over. That's compound interest in a nutshell. Here's a more financial example. Let's say you invest $100 at a 10% annual interest rate. At the end of the first year, you'll have $110. That's your original $100 plus $10 of interest. Simple enough, right? But here's where compound interest gets interesting. In the second year, you're not just earning interest on your original $100, you're also earning interest on the $10 you made in the first year. So at the end of the second year, you'll have $121, not just $120. That extra dollar might not seem like much, but over the course of many years, it can add up to a lot. Compound interest is often called the eighth wonder of the world because it can lead to exponential growth of your money. It's not just about the money you invest, it's about the money that money makes and the money that money makes and so on. But here's the catch. Compound interest takes time. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a get-rich-slowly but surely scheme. The longer you leave your money invested, the more time it has to grow and the more powerful the effect of compound interest becomes. So, why does compound interest matter? Because it's a powerful tool that can help you grow your wealth over time. It's the reason why starting to save and invest early in life is so important, because it gives your money more time to compound and grow. Complicated? Maybe a little, but here's why it matters. So, what's the big deal about these two types of interest, you ask? Well, let's dive into the real impact of both simple and compound interest, shall we? Imagine you're a squirrel storing away acorns for the winter. In the world of simple interest, each acorn you gather is just that, a single acorn. You'll have exactly as many acorns as you've collected when winter comes around. But what if every time you stashed an acorn away, it had the magical ability to duplicate itself over time? That's the world of compound interest, where your acorns, or in our case, money, have the power to multiply all by themselves. Let's translate this into human terms. Say you're saving up for a trip around the world. With simple interest, if you stash away $1,000 at a 5% annual interest rate, after 10 years, you would have gained $500. Not bad, right? But now let's step into the magical world of compound interest. If you took that same $1,000 at the same 5% interest rate, but this time it's compounded annually after 10 years, you'd have gained more than $600. That's over $100 more than with simple interest. This might not seem like a huge difference at first glance, but remember, we're just talking about a single $1,000 here. The more money you start with and the longer you let it sit and compound, the bigger the difference becomes. Over time, this can lead to significantly more earnings in the long run. So if you're looking to maximize your savings, compound interest is definitely the way to go. It's like having a money-making machine that works for you, even while you sleep. And that, dear viewers, is the power of compound interest. Now that you understand the difference, how can you make interest work for you? Well, the key to harnessing the power of compound interest is all about getting started early. The earlier you begin to save and invest, the more time you give your money to grow and multiply. It's like planting a seedling. The sooner you plant it, the taller the tree and the more fruits it will yield. Let's consider a hypothetical scenario. Imagine two friends, Alex and Bella. Alex starts investing $100 every month from the age of 25, while Bella starts doing the same from 35. They both continue this practice until they retire at 65. Even though Bella invests the same amount as Alex, she ends up with significantly less money at retirement. This is because Alex's investments had an extra 10 years to accrue compound interest. The point here isn't to make you feel like you've missed the boat if you didn't start investing in your early 20s. It's never too late to start. The point is to stress the importance of starting now. Whatever your age may be, the longer your money is invested, the more time it has to accrue interest, and then that interest starts earning interest on itself, and so on. Another tip to make interest work for you is to reinvest your earnings. When you earn interest, instead of withdrawing it, you can reinvest it back into your savings or investment portfolio. This way, your interest starts earning interest. And that's when the magic of compound interest really starts to show. So to sum it up, start saving and investing early, and let your earnings earn more by reinvesting them. This is how you can make interest, particularly compound interest, work for you. It's not about becoming a millionaire overnight. It's about steady and consistent growth over time. Remember, the earlier you start, the more compound interest can work its magic on your money.